The Ezra Principle, the hidden Jewish formula for financial success. The Ezra Principle refers to the biblical model of financial wisdom, discipline, and stewardship based on the life and leadership of Ezra, a Jewish scribe and priest. While there isn't a widely recognized book or doctrine explicitly called the Ezra Principle, the idea aligns with key themes in Jewish financial principles, such as stewardship, diligence, and covenantal prosperity. Here are some core aspects that could define the Ezra Principle in the context of financial success. Ezra 7 verse 10 states, "For Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach his statutes and rules in Israel." This verse outlines a threefold principle that can be applied to financial success. 1. Study, commitment to learning. Ezra set his heart to study God's law, showing a deep commitment to knowledge and wisdom. This same principle applies to financial success. Wealth is often a result of understanding financial systems, markets, investments, and economic principles. Practical application. Successful people in business and finance dedicate time to continuous learning, reading books, studying market trends, and seeking mentors. 2. Application, discipline, and integrity. Ezra didn't just study, he lived out what he learned. Knowledge without application is useless. Practical application. In finances, this means putting principles into action, budgeting, investing wisely, avoiding debt traps, and making ethical financial decisions. 3. Teaching, multiplication of wealth and knowledge. Ezra also taught others, ensuring that wisdom wasn't just personal but shared within the community. Practical application. Wealthy individuals often mentor others, create businesses that provide jobs, and pass down financial wisdom to future generations, which is a common principle in Jewish wealth traditions. Modern financial takeaways from Ezra 7 verse 10. Commit to lifelong learning about money and wealth management. Implement financial principles with discipline and consistency. Teach others, children, employees, or communities about financial wisdom to create lasting impact. 2. Faithfulness and integrity. Ezra 8 verses 24 to 30. Ezra demonstrated faithfulness and integrity when he was entrusted with vast amounts of silver, gold, and temple articles for the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Instead of misusing these resources, he handled them with extreme care, accountability, and transparency. This principle is a key factor in financial success, both biblically and practically. Key aspects of faithfulness and integrity in finance. 1. Stewardship, managing resources with accountability. Open book Ezra 8 verses 28 to 29. "And I said to them, You are holy to the Lord, and the articles are holy. The silver and the gold are a free will offering to the Lord, the God of your ancestors. Guard them carefully until you weigh them out." Ezra understood that money and resources are not truly ours. They are entrusted to us. He made sure everything was accounted for and reported back transparently. Application. In business and finance, this means handling money responsibly, tracking expenses, avoiding waste, and being honest in all dealings. 2. Integrity. Honesty in all dealings. Open book Proverbs 11 verse 1. "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." Jewish financial ethics emphasize fair trade, honest contracts, and keeping one's word. Ezra ensured that everything given to him was weighed and recorded accurately. Application. In business, this means being honest in transactions, avoiding fraud, and ensuring fair wages and prices. 3. Trustworthiness, the foundation of long-term wealth. Open book Luke 16 verse 10. "Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much." Ezra's financial integrity ensured that he remained trusted by the people and by God. Application. Long-term wealth is often built on trust. Businesses that uphold ethical practices gain loyal customers and lasting success. Modern financial takeaways from Ezra's integrity. White heavy checkmark. Handle money with transparency. Document income, expenses, and investments properly. White heavy checkmark. Be honest in financial dealings. Avoid shortcuts, scams, and unethical practices. White heavy checkmark. Build trust. People prefer to do business with those who have a reputation for integrity. 3. Generational wealth and community responsibility. The Jewish financial model, reflected in Ezra's leadership, emphasizes long-term wealth building and community responsibility. Ezra wasn't just concerned with his own success. He worked to restore Jerusalem's economic and spiritual stability for future generations. Key aspects of generational wealth and community responsibility. 1. Long-term vision, building for future generations. Open Book Proverbs 13 verse 22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Ezra's mission wasn't just about short-term economic recovery. It was about laying a foundation for a stable, thriving Israel. Application. Generational wealth is built through investments, wise financial planning, and passing down knowledge. Many successful Jewish families prioritize financial education, estate planning, and business ownership to ensure wealth lasts beyond one generation. 2. Education, teaching financial wisdom. Open Book Deuteronomy 6 verses 6 to 7. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Jewish communities emphasize teaching financial responsibility from an early age. Application. Parents and leaders should educate children about money management, entrepreneurship, and ethical financial practices. This ensures that wealth is not only accumulated but sustained. 3. Community responsibility, wealth with purpose. Open Book Nehemiah 5 verses 11 to 12. Ezra's contemporary, Nehemiah, ensured fair economic practices and debt relief. Ezra and Nehemiah worked together to prevent financial oppression in Israel. They encouraged fair lending practices and helped the poor. Application. True wealth is not just about personal gain. It should also uplift others. This can include charity, tzedakah, ethical business practices, and community investment. 4. Avoiding debt and economic traps. Open Book Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Jewish financial principles discourage unnecessary debt and promote self-sufficiency. Application. Avoid consumer debt, build savings, and invest wisely to create financial security for future generations. Modern financial takeaways from Ezra's leadership. White heavy checkmark. Think long-term. Invest in assets that grow over time, real estate, businesses, stocks. White heavy checkmark. Educate the next generation. Pass down financial wisdom and habits. White heavy checkmark. Give back to the community. Support ethical business and charitable causes. White heavy checkmark. Stay financially independent, avoid debt, and live within your means. 4. The power of covenant and blessing. The Jewish approach to financial success is deeply tied to covenantal principles, the belief that obedience to God's laws brings divine blessing and prosperity. Ezra operated within this framework, ensuring that Israel was aligned with God's will, which led to national restoration and economic stability. Key aspects of covenant and blessing in finances. 1. Obedience leads to prosperity. Open Book Deuteronomy 28 verses 1 to 2. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God. Ezra reinstated God's laws among the people, knowing that obedience would bring economic and spiritual renewal. Application. Financial success is often tied to discipline, ethics, and living by principles that ensure long-term stability. 2. Blessing through work and diligence. Open Book Proverbs 10 verse 4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. The covenantal blessing is not just about prayer, it requires action. Jewish tradition emphasizes hard work, entrepreneurship, and wise investments as means of receiving God's blessing. Application. Sustainable wealth comes from diligence, creativity, and persistence in financial matters. 3. The principle of giving, tzedakah. Open Book Malachi 3 verse 10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Jewish financial traditions strongly emphasize charitable giving, tzedakah, as a key to financial blessing. Application. Generosity creates a cycle of abundance. Many wealthy individuals follow the 10% giving principle to charities, religious institutions, or community development. 4. Covenant protection against financial ruin. Open Book Psalm 37 verse 25. I was young, and now I am old. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. Ezra re-established God's covenant with Israel, ensuring divine protection over their economy. Application: living by biblical principles, honesty, integrity, and stewardship creates financial resilience, even during economic downturns. Modern financial takeaways from the power of covenant and blessing. White heavy checkmark: align financial decisions with ethical and biblical principles. White heavy checkmark: work diligently and embrace entrepreneurship as a means of blessing. White heavy checkmark: practice generosity. Giving leads to greater financial stability. White heavy checkmark: trust in divine provision, but also apply wisdom in financial planning.